I'm going to touch on a bunch of things that relate to activity that's taken place post-reveal, talk about some topics that I know everybody will be interested in, share a little bit about what's coming up, and then open it up for questions. I'd love to get everybody in and out of here in less than an hour, so I'll try to be super efficient. Incredible reveal. It was absolutely mind-blowing watching the excitement as we were building up to it, watching the reveals. I personally, I've been very close to the project from the very beginning, obviously, but I was there. I was just as surprised as everybody else in seeing the actual final product. I held back on wanting to see everything and being a part of the curation team because I wanted to experience it the way all of you experienced it, and for the first time. And it's still amazing to see all the new avatars, and I understand why people have such an affinity for them, and why they're becoming collectible, why people want more than one. The responses across the community, outside the community, even in my own family, I have young children that were like, "Dad, I need to buy one of these," and they use their own money, and they each bought one, and they're trading them. Their friends are getting involved. Super, super exciting. So, congrats to the team on an incredible reveal. I think it was flawless, and just incredibly wonderful to see how the community is embracing it. The art, the characteristics, all of it. Let's start with some of these topics that I'll talk about today. I don't really like to talk about, but I'm going to talk about them because they are in a lot of people's minds. The floor, the secondary market, all that stuff. So let me start at the top. This is not a PFP project. And everything you see out there is driven by that phenomenon. We are a game platform, a play-to-earn game platform with real utility that crosses over the categories in many ways. But we're not driven by the same metrics that these PFP projects are driven in, and we don't want to be seen in the same category as them because we're just a different animal. Having said that, there are metrics that are still important. Having a strong secondary market is important because what it speaks to is the fact that people are interested in getting involved. It's the only way you can buy an avatar and buy an entry pass into the game. And so if it's not available through a mint, it's available in the secondary market. And I'm excited to share that our secondary market is off the charts. For a project this young, for a project that's not a PFP project, we're approaching $1 million at today's Ethereum adjustment in secondary market transactions. In fact, we are the number 2 project across every timeline and category over the last 30 days in sports on OpenSea. Above every category within sports and above every project that has some relationship to horse racing. So that's a big kudos to the community. It's a big kudos to I think the whole project. So I do think secondary market transactions is very relevant, and I think we're doing a great job there. I think wallet growth is relevant. We're at 1,600 and some odd wallets. I'd like to see that number grow, and I believe it will grow as more and more people become aware of the project. I do look at transactions. I look to see who's buying. Is it somebody new? Is it someone that's collecting? What are the drivers? And beginning to really understand the community and how the community is behaving. But it will be important for us to see the growth in the wallets, and I think that's going to come over time, and it's going to come fast and furious. The third metric, which everybody looks at, which I'm going to remind this community is completely irrelevant, is the floor. The floor is relevant in massive PFP projects. It is irrelevant at this stage in what we're doing. Now, why is it irrelevant? It's irrelevant because there's no depth to the market. Our community, out of the gate, on a pre-reveal basis, we're holding. There were less than 44 avatars available pre-reveal, under 1 ETH. And the depth of the market to get to 0.3, there are about 8 avatars right now on the market under that. Having said that, I know everybody looks to it and everybody wants to see it grow, and it will grow, but ultimately from our perspective, it's not a leading indicator to the success of the project, and I just want to keep reminding everybody about that. I also want to say one thing. There have been a lot of scammers out there, both pre-drop and post-drop. I've personally witnessed people's wallets being cleaned out, both people that I know and people that I don't know. It is very important that if you don't have experience in the space, that you understand you should segregate your avatars and not use the wallet that you hold your avatars in or any valuable NFTs in to click on things. You should have burner wallets for that. And for whatever reason, people are clicking on links and they're getting their wallets cleaned out, and it's very hurtful to watch. But it's what it is. When you see a transaction under 0.2 ETH, it is a stolen avatar, 99% stolen avatar. You just have to look at the thread and you'll see it. You can look at the Etherscan and you'll see it. If you see a rare avatar selling for what looks like a great deal, it is most likely stolen. And that's the only thing that you have to understand. And it's unfortunate, but it's what it is. And that's why, because I see it in the chatter, in the Discord, and I just want to remind people that it's not that people are dumping their avatars. It's that they're trading in stolen avatars. Unfortunately, I know from firsthand experience, because I've been hacked as well in the past, if you can get to OpenSea before the first trade from the hacker, they can block it from being sold. Otherwise, once it's sold to an unbeknownst person, it no longer can be stopped. So just wanted to give you that heads up. We're seeing a lot of newcomers, first-time people that are buying into the project. That's very exciting to see. We're also seeing a lot of people that are collecting the avatars for multiple reasons. One reason is its utility. It's the only way you can mint a horse in the upcoming mint. So if you want multiple horses, that's one way to do it. It also is a testament to people's belief in the project, because the value of these avatars as we grow the project can become very, very valuable, because it's the only way for people to get into the project. Further, the utility of the avatars, as you'll begin to experience in the coming months, are going to deliver value that if you own multiples of them, will have some meaning. And I'm not going to get into a lot of detail around that, but if it's something that you aspire to do, it's a nice thing to have. And I think in addition to all of that, the art, it does speak to people, and it speaks to me. I literally, when I get a chance, if I see something that I like, that I could see myself identifying with, I buy it. And I've quickly come to own about 20 of these avatars, and it is addicting. So it's exciting to see that other people share in the same enthusiasm for a variety of reasons, and I'm thrilled. I'm just thrilled to see the evolution of this. So that's all I'm going to say about the activity in the market. I'll comment on it occasionally as we see meaningful movements driven by real events that are taking place in our project. It's so early right now. The public barely knows we exist. And as we grow, and as our utility grows, and as we begin to release functionality and gamification into the metaverse, and as we begin to release more alpha, I think you'll see more and more people wanting to be a part of this community, and that will naturally, through the laws of supply and demand, drive the value of the project across the board for everybody's benefit. So that's my comments on the market. I'll jump quickly to the contests. We had 4 contests. First contest was the $1 million contest. If you picked the top 20 horses in a row to win the Kentucky Derby, you won $1 million. Nobody won that contest, although we decided that we were going to give away avatars to we were going to give away a prize to the top 3, to the top person that had the greatest depth in their selection. So if you picked the first, second, third, and fourth horse and onwards, the person that picked the most in that sequence from 1 would win a specific avatar. There was a tie, a three-way tie, and we decided that rather than do a tiebreaker, we were going to give an avatar to each of the winners. And I believe that has happened, so congratulations to those of you that won that contest. The second contest was the contest relating to the order of horses coming in to the finish line in the Kentucky Derby. The combined numbers, dropping the first digit of double-digit numbers, was 1303. That avatar with that serial number is sitting in our corporate wallet, earmarked for marketing, and therefore nobody won that, and we're rolling it over to the Preakness. So the winner, using the same rules, will post an announcement of the Preakness. If you own the serial number for that avatar, you will win a prize package worth around $50,000, and we're excited for that. If nobody wins that in the Preakness, we will roll it over to the Belmont Stakes, and we're very hopeful somebody will win that. And I can tell you, having experienced this weekend, it is absolutely one of those memories, and I'm excited for other people to be able to experience that. The third prize.
To quickly add, just on top of that, now that I could speak to the experience, it's one of a kind experience. So I'm just so excited for whoever does get the opportunity to win that, and I really had such an incredible time, incredible new appreciation for the sport, and it's an awesome giveaway.
On that note, the third prize, which is also an identical package of 2 tickets plus $10,000 for travel and expenses to the 3-day event in the Finish Line Suites. Whoever would have gotten the tropical racing avatar, it became apparent after the reveal that it is not in this collection, which means it's in the other collection, and the contest will hold through the reveal of the other collection. So that's still in play. And there will also be some upcoming giveaways relating to the Preakness, which will be revealed in the coming week or so. So those are just updates for you guys, and we'll open it up for questions later if you have any questions.
Do you also want to talk to, just in terms of if there was any confusion around the tropical avatar? Troy, one of the co-founders of the project and CEO of Tropical Racing, also has a tropical avatar. So meaning there are 2 tropical avatars in the collection. One of them is Troy's, because that's his, that's Tropicals. And then the second one will be the one that is gifted with the trip to the Derby. So just for clarification in that regard.
Thank you, Binny. Just a quick recap on the Derby experience. It was my first time there as well. Troy invited the co-founders of Game of Silks to their corporate suite. They had one on the finish line and they had one on the starting line, and I can just tell you it was a mind-boggling experience. From 3 days of racing to being in these elaborate suites with incredible food and drinking, and the crowd, and the 160,000 people dressed to the nines in crazy outfits, and it was unbelievable. The celebrities, just the whole experience, and I have a new appreciation for these type of events, and I'm excited that we'll be able to share this with our community, and we now have plans that we're discussing internally around creating these type of experiences in real life for our community on a global basis. So something that we're going to write into our roadmap and create value for our avatar holders. Finally, I have 2 other categories I want to talk about. I want to recap utility, because I see a lot of conversations relating to utility of the avatar and its value. So I'll talk briefly about that. 1, the avatar allows you to mint a horse. We will not be selling our horses to the public. They will be going to the community, which means that you will be able to buy one of these horses, or multiple if you own multiple avatars. And then you'll have the reveal, and then you can do with the horse whatever you'd like. You can own it, you can syndicate it, you can stake it into a farm, you can sell it, trade it, pinhook it, whatever you'd like. They will only get into the hands of the public after the mint. So that's a very big deal, and that's a very big part of the value proposition. The second utility of the avatar is it's the foundational OG membership into the community. Owning one of these avatars means that you are a founding member of the community. I heard in the last AMA questions around whether you owned it from the original mint or you bought it in the secondary market. Does that make a difference? When we did the original mint, we advised everybody that we would be taking a snapshot of the wallets. And we didn't assign any specific value to that other than the fact that we do want to know who our original minters are. And there may be value in the future to that. I don't want to specifically speak about it, but if you did own it and you own a wallet that was in that mint and it was moved, that will be fine as well. We're still working out the logistics of how much integrity we can maintain in tracking this. But I did announce it during the mint, and to the extent that we're able to preserve that information, we will preserve it and create a special status for those people. The third utility is access to special channels online, special in real life events and contests, and other activities that are specifically designed for our core original membership. The fourth utility is access to airdrops. Those are only going to go to our avatar holders, and without getting into a lot of specifics, there's going to be a lot of value associated with that. The fifth utility is rarity, and I know that there's been a lot of conversation around it. I jumped in a few times to try to temper the conversations because it is important for people to understand we are not a project defined by rarity. Having said that, there is value in rarity. There is value in rarity in three different ways. One, the aesthetic. Like art, when you talk to an advisor in art, if you're going to invest in art, people tell you invest in something that you like. And if it delivers value in the future, that's a double win. And I would say the same thing. Invest in avatars that speak to you, that speak to your personal brand. It's not just the avatar, it's going to be every asset that you own in the metaverse, in this game, in this platform that's going to define you. And so imagine flags, imagine blinkers on your horses, imagine all kinds of things decorated with your colors. And that's going to be important because you're going to walk through the metaverse and you're going to recognize people that are in this room based on those images. I was at the race in Derby, and it was very immediate that you could identify that there were two horses owned by the same stable running in that race. And the same thing will happen here. And you'll be able to walk to the barn. You'll recognize the silks. It's going to be very cool, and it's a very unique element of our project. And I want to, specifically state that, you may not feel it right now, but you will feel it as these avatars come to life, as the metaverse comes to life, as the assets begin coming to life. Cloud is a second value associated with rarity. The rarer something is, the more distinct it is. And it provides distinction. And in the real world, that is cloud. People buy things because they want to be different. They want to be noted. They want to be recognized. And that is value. And so that drives value in rarity, and I don't want to discount it. I described this yesterday in a brief exchange in Discord, saying, look, a jacket is a jacket. It's designed to keep you warm. But if you're just going to buy a jacket and not consider how it looks on you, that's one type of consumer. Some consumers care about and will select something that they think looks good on them, that identifies well with them. And that should be your measure of value. And I see rarity, finally, as a game within the game. It's like one of those proposition bets in craps, or the progressive bet on a Caribbean poker table. It's just another little game within the game that can create value. It doesn't change anything about utility. If you want to play that game, that's great. I personally have been buying some avatars that are rare that speak to me, but they have to speak to me, and I'll continue to do that if I get the opportunity to do it. But it's just another game within the game, and if you choose to play it, that's awesome. And that's all I'm going to say about rarity. Just a couple of more things I'd like to share with the audience, and then I'll open it up for questions, or I'll pass the mic to Binny he has anything he'd like to add. I'm excited. I've announced this before, but I'm excited to announce that we've kicked off the development of the major platform with Access Point. There's a team of 15 people working around the clock to begin the development of Sprint Zero, which is the first sprint in the technology development. I can also tell you that we're working on a variety of very cool things that we're going to see released in the coming weeks and in the short, let's call it, 4 to 6 week period that you'll be seeing. That's going to become, that'll be very exciting. We have a lot of, I would say, expect surprises, even though you're not supposed to accept them in the coming weeks. We've got a lot planned for the community and for the platform, and we're excited to tease you a little bit. I know people are anticipating things because that's part of the culture, and we're going to stay consistent with the culture and keep things a surprise and under wraps. But just sharing with you that we have a roadmap that includes a lot of really fun stuff and a lot of value that will inure to the benefit of everybody. Not just in terms of things that you're going to acquire, not just in terms of airdrops, not just in terms of those type of things, but also in terms of functionality, in terms of starting to bring to life a lot of the vision. And it'll come in phases, but you're going to begin to start tasting it very soon. And I personally can't wait. I know the team can't wait either, and we're just super excited. So that's all I've got on my agenda. Binny, would you like to add to anything?
Yeah, I would just like to say, first and foremost, I can't begin to express how grateful we are to the community for the feedback and response since the reveal. Personally, just being invested with the creatives in this project for the past, several months and seeing all the hard work and kind of feedback, I can't begin to tell you the amount of gratitude and excitement that it kind of cultivated and created for the team, for the culture, but also just from the lens of a creator, just to see that and see it come to life. It's a surreal feeling. I don't think I can quantify that feeling, but it's really it's insane. And from the foundation of building a community without even having an OpenSea, now being able to go onto OpenSea and see the collection and to build from a foundation like this, it's beyond words. It really is. And I'm grateful to the team around me every single day, but we're grateful to you as the community for supporting, for identifying with your avatars, and for really being part of this of this project. So I'm just grateful in that regard, and I'm really, really excited about the next phase. I can't begin to tell you what we're about to deliver on, what's even more exciting is just I want you all to think about the amount of effort and time that went into building what we have till today, but to now even think about the amount of energy and excitement that is quadrupled in terms of the next phase of development. This team right now is so driven, so excited, and so energized that there's a lot of amazing things on the way. So that's what I'd like to just quickly state, and thank you.
I'll say one more thing, Binny, that I think is important for this community to know. What happened at the Derby this weekend was monumental. An underdog that wasn't even supposed to be there, that was purchased for $30,000 last year, became the greatest horse of the year in the Derby. It will have an effect similar to the moneymaker effect in 2003 that poker enjoyed, where people saw a regular person, an accountant, come out of nowhere to win the greatest competition in poker. And it literally gave hope to everybody that they could win, that anybody could win. Anybody could handicap a horse, anybody could buy a horse and win the Kentucky Derby. And so I think we're going to see some really exciting things develop in the industry as a result of this. I think we're going to see a whole new wave of interest in horse racing. And I think from a timing perspective, as it relates to what we're doing, it's a home run. It could not have happened. It couldn't have played out any better for all of us. I can also tell you, having spent 3 days interacting with the general horse racing community in one of the most well-attended and prestigious events, and talking to people about what we're doing, it resonates loud and clear with the industry. And people are incredibly excited about what we're doing, both in terms of getting involved and in terms of what it's going to do for the community at large. So timing in these type of things is not something you can truly control, but it is something that will determine in many cases our fate. And I think from that perspective, we're in such a great place, and that makes us even more excited. So that's what I have to say. And with that, I'll turn it over to Squid and Ben to host any Q&A for the next 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, awesome. And let's not forget who had the best hats at the Derby.
Everyone, it was Squid.
I saw pictures can confirm.
Hello, guys.
Hi
How's it
there.
going?
Oh, so you can hear me now. I have some questions. About the future plans overall, and it's like related to celebrities and stuff. So I'm gonna start with: are you considering inviting some interested celebrities by gifting them some unique or rare NFTs of Silks? Like we've seen Drake, we've seen some celebrities in the Kentucky Derby, and some of them might be interested in NFT world. I'm not sure if they are, to be honest, but we've seen celebrities that are interested in the NFT. So people who are interested in like Kentucky Derby and NFTs could be good for the community to grow sales to go even bigger in a way or another. That is just I was just like asking myself, like wondering about it. Are you considering doing some kind of things, or like you're not interested in into going like for the like public? You're basically focusing on some kind of like niche people who are interested in the horse racing.
So I'll explain.
Uh,
I'll respond to you with that question. So we've allocated a portion of the corporate wallet with the NFTs that we separated. Those are going to be used for marketing, and they may be used for celebrities. But I will tell you that it would not surprise me if we will see large estates and horse farms that are owned by celebrities in the future, and we have an entire department that's focused on bringing in the right people that fit within our brand that can truly help elevate awareness of what we're doing to the public. So that's all in our roadmap.
all right, that's great. Also, I'm asking about the Silks, the project itself, the game. Let's say, will we be able to create our own races, like between the players, to be a BVB or player versus player races or tournaments organized by Silks.io, for example?
So we have on the roadmap, if you read the back of the white paper, one of the last paragraphs talks about eventually we're going to introduce utility in land where you can build a racetrack and host races that are algorithmic.
Yeah.
So that is in our roadmap. It's not something that's going to happen right away, but it is something that we've identified, especially for horses that are no longer productive. So if you own a horse that was injured or died or just isn't racing, you'll be able to do that in the future.
That's great. Like, I guess that's gonna be in the Q1 of 2023, as I remember from the white paper.
Yeah, it's going to be sometime I would say probably later than that, but we have a lot of other things that we want to build and introduce into the game well before that. So, but it will be there. It's part of our roadmap.
That's great. My last question is: will we be able to simulate the races based on the horse's attributes in real life? Like it could be accurate. Like we've seen the speedometer of the horses going like 98 miles per hour, etc. Like, can we simulate that to basically ease the way of prediction of the races? Maybe in the future, are we like, our Silk's team gonna be able to do so or not?
Do you want me to take this, Dan?
Sure, go ahead.
So you're talking about the algorithmic racing when it does get implemented. Will it be using specific data points from the real world productivity of that horse to help manipulate the results of the algorithmic race? Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Awesome. So I mean, that is part of our later stage of development, but it's definitely going to be something. Data points to help kind of predict those races, but that is not a priority of the business right now. But as we mentioned, it is part of the later long-term roadmap.
That's great. Like, I believe that is gonna be a good idea to drive people to invest into silks, because like, having some indicators to predict the outcome of the races could be great for those who could be interested in such a field in a way or another. It could, like, basically advertise silks as a tool to be helpful for these like, wager takers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. I love it. And, I love the questions. Thank you.
I really appreciate all your answers, guys, and thank you for your time. We'll be around, and keep it going, keep it up. We're pretty hyped for the project.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we want to get a lot of people up here, so for the future questions, we're just going to limit it to one question for everyone coming up.
Thanks for bringing me up. This is Eddie. Hey, I did have multiple questions, and so I will keep it to one. First off, this has been great just because we've already connected with a number of Silks people that want to head out to the racetrack with us already. And that's our number one goal, is to bring more people to the racetrack, just like you guys too. We have our own project that we will be unveiling in the coming days as well, that we believe will live in the Silks metaverse. So when we minted this king, it just was wonderful for us, because it fits exactly the style that we're looking for. Just as you had mentioned, Dan, that there is value in this rarity, and having a king, I think, really suits us well, and we're very appreciative. My question is that, we are a claiming organization. I brought up claiming before to you guys, and I know it's something different than what you guys are doing, but this weekend, absolutely proved how vitally important claiming is to our industry, and to getting, people involved in thinking that they have a chance. So we wanted to, see what we can do, potentially together, to get more racetracks involved with you guys, starting with our own local one, and our event that we are going to have this weekend. We have 30-40 people coming out, and I know it's not, huge, but that's a large number of people that don't know who you guys are yet, and they will after this weekend. How can we collaborate on something together to bring more people into this Silks universe, as we're all wanting to grow this?
So we're all on the same page. We're going to be, right now we're in kind of a phase where we're transitioning from the kind of building of the foundational community to starting to reorganize and plan out the next phase, which is developing the community and continuing to grow it, and building our technology, and identifying who our community is, and what really is important to them in the beginnings. So what I can tell you is that as it relates to getting the industry involved, we're all over it. And we're being very, very strategic in how we sequence our conversations. And you'll begin to understand that as we begin to share some of the development of our business development with the community as it relates to the industry. Our intention is to get everybody involved, but we want to do it in the right way to ensure that everybody gets involved. And so, I will say to you that we'll have announcements in the coming weeks that will make this very obvious. And we will literally have a dedicated group internally focused on being a point department for the industry to come to us, whether it's tracks or auction houses or bloodstock managers or whoever, agents or whoever they are. We'll have a role for everybody in the metaverse, and we will also be forming committees from within our community to develop a lot of this ideation. I can tell you, Ziti, that claiming actually has been something we've been talking about for a long time from the beginning. It's not publicly on our roadmap because I think it's really scary for people to think that they could potentially lose their NFTs in a claiming race, even though they're getting paid for it. But it is the way the industry works, and I'm sure a lot of people are not familiar with what claiming is, and we'll talk about it another time. But it is something that we've talked about. It is something that's kind of sitting there in a pocket in our roadmap, and we do agree that it could be a really fun component of the game. So I'd invite you to raise your hand when we start forming committees and get involved with us that way. Also on the live event space, we've got some really big plans for all kinds of access to very special things along the lines of IRL events, and it sounds like you're ahead of us on that, but would love to have you involved at some point as we start developing that thinking as well.
And I'd also actually love to add. Yeah, I'd also just love to add. First off, the PFP is awesome. You gotta love a king. Second of all, I gotta say, I see you very, very engaged and active in terms of what you're building, but also talking through the integration with what we're building. And I think that that's what Web3 is all about. And I really appreciate seeing it, and I'm really excited to hear that you're bringing people who are new to the space into thoroughbred racing, but then also sharing our project with them in terms of the potential and opportunity that communities, micro communities, could really create and form. So I'm excited to hear that. I'm interested to think through how we could potentially add value in terms of you bringing people in and how we could show our presence or kind of provide you with resources that help you do that. But I'm also looking forward to potentially continuing that dialogue. So I'd like to speak with you about that at any time if that's something you're interested in.
Absolutely, and thank you. Yeah, because I was going to ask, where do I put my resume in to join this team? Because this is definitely something that I can see a future for myself. But I also have a team behind me that hopefully we can get a chance to geek out and find a way that we can all get into the winner's circle together, because those pictures are amazing.
Yeah.
Thanks for your time. I appreciate it.
Yep, thank you. And you can reach out through support tickets, and then also we do have our email set up for opportunities as well. I'll have to speak with Merms about that, but we're getting that set up at the moment. So in terms of potential job offers, but job opportunities, things like that. I'm pretty sure it's recruiting at SoCIO. Yeah.
I have talked with Abe quite a bit. He's the one that actually brought us into this world, so I have to give Abe a shout out.
Awesome.
Just another fox.
Hi guys, I just wanted to say thank you. My question is going to be really not very much time. I was just wondering if you guys bet on Rich Strike in the Derby, or if you had him on any of your tickets. And that's it.
That's a great question. And first of all, I love your avatar. I love the ruby apple. I can see it very clearly, even though it's a small avatar. So fabulous. So to answer your question, I can speak to myself, but maybe the other guys that were there can jump in as well. I did not bet on Rich Strike. I have been betting for the last 20 years on the Derby, and I always bet the underdog as just just for fun. I've hit it a couple of times, and I got caught up in the suite, surrounded by some really smart people that were talking about how they were betting, who they thought were going to win, and how to bet. What type of bets to make, and and boxes and all kinds of other complex things. So I got caught up in that, and I just forgot to bet on the long shot. And it was also the horse was put in at the last minute, so it just wasn't top of mind for me. And I kicked myself. I would have normally thrown a $20 bet, on the long shot, and probably boxed it with Epicenter, which for the exacta, which was my favorite. And who would have won if Rich Strike didn't come in from the back like that? And I can tell you, and I tweeted this briefly. We were right there. We were literally, right in between the starting gate and the finish line, and we saw the results, and we were taken by surprise. We could not believe what we were seeing, because I had the first two horses in multiple bets, thinking that I'd already won, and then out of nowhere, this horse comes in, and I'm like, "What happened?" It was surreal. So it was very exciting. I think it's great for the industry. I did not bet, unfortunately, on the horse, and normally I would have. So that's my quick.
I will just add, and it was one of my favorite moments of the Derby. But we had a wise man who was, with us during the races for the
genius.
A genius, if you will, and he actually bet the right horse at the Oaks, and he'd be giving me recommendations throughout the day. I just, for some reason, I was like, I'm just going to go with my gut. But the reality is, I should have went with his, because he did bet. He did bet correctly, and he did. And when he won the Derby, everyone around him started clapping and cheering for him. And like that moment in time, just seeing his smile on his face and kind of the people congregating around him was actually really, really special. And afterwards, he turned to me and he said, "You got to take a picture with me and hang it in your office." So I might be doing that. I probably will, and I'll be sure to follow his advice in the future.
Yeah, that was definitely the craziest time. Like, he did pick the winner for the Oaks, and then he picks this horse, because this is why when people say don't pick a horse because it's named, this is the definition why to pick a horse, because they're named. But that was super fun.
I mean, so the horse, he's the only race he ever won was at Churchill Downs, just for anybody who doesn't know. And he won that race by 17 and a half lengths. So it was pretty incredible just for him to come back to the place of his only win and just do it again. So
yeah.
Thank you guys.
And another crazy fact is, the jockey's first time at the Derby and wins the Derby. So shout out to Sonny Leon. That was awesome.
And, I think it's the Connection's second graded stakes race. They're only their second win in a graded stakes race. So good horses can come from anywhere. Thanks, guys, for your time.
Thank you.
Hey guys, how you doing?
What's up?
How was the race? How was the Derby? You guys have fun?
We had a blast.
It was a blast. It really was.
We're still recovering.
Awesome. So my question, if you guys are ready for it, with the current market right now, it's a very, very bearish market, and especially for NFTs. Overall sales volume on OpenSea is down around 90%. Ethereum's down big, Bitcoin's down big, stocks are down big. How does Game of Silks plan on navigating this tough market?
You've always got the best questions, I gotta say.
Don't you love me for it? You guys keep pulling me up here, so.
Yeah, no, I love it. Dan, you want to take this?
Sure. So to answer your question, one, we have plenty of capital. Two, I can tell you that there isn't a day that goes by where I don't get an unsolicited call from a major venture capital firm. And today was no exception. I had 2 calls. And there is a very strong interest in what we're doing. And while the market may temper behavior, this is a very volatile market. And tomorrow we could see the market bounce back in an incredible way. I mean, if you want my personal views, my personal view is that we're in a hyperinflationary economy right now, that cash is going to zero, and that you need to find a place to house your capital where it won't be depreciated. A lot of this initiative is effectively devaluing our money every time the government prints money, right? So people are moving it into gold, they're moving it into the stock market, they're moving it into crypto, they're moving it into NFTs. If we continue to see a decline in the market and people are selling, what are they doing with their capital? It eventually has to find itself back in either hard goods or in companies that are going to have growth in sales because of inflation. So if Coca-Cola sold a can of Coke for $1 and tomorrow that dollar is devalued by 20% because inflation is out of control, the next price bump is going to be $1.30 or $1.40. So they're going to be able to maintain their profits and maintain their sales growth to adjust for inflation because they're selling goods that consumers have to consume. As it relates to what we're doing, I don't really look at the market. Certainly not the NFT market right now. I think that this is par for the course. I've been in Bitcoin since it was $220, and I saw it, go up to $12,000 and come back down to $3,000, and then go up to $69,000. So we don't pay attention to this stuff, at least not in the short term. If we see a major trend, then we'll pause. But you're talking about a few days of activity, and it's not something we're focused on.
Awesome. Appreciate the answer and your insight on the market right now.
Absolutely.
Looks like that was our last hand. Anything else to close this great AMA out?
Just a big thank you again. I want to echo Binny's comments. This is all about the community, and the enthusiasm and interest from the community has been incredible. And we don't have to make up this information. Just look at the market, look at the wallet holders, look at the attendance of our AMAs. There isn't a day that goes by where there aren't thousands of people in our Discord lurking, listening, participating. We have one of the most vibrant communities on Discord, one of the most vibrant communities in the NFT world, in the play-to-earn world. And we have to continue to build and develop and execute and grow. And it wouldn't surprise me if we're 5 times as large as we are in the next 3 to 4 months. So a lot to look forward to. We paused for a few minutes to catch our breath, and we're getting ready to get back out there and really start delivering. And I know we're promising a lot, and usually I like to come from under promising and over delivering, and I do, but I can't control my excitement, and I know that the rest of the team feels the same way. So that's all I have to say. I can't wait for us to start kind of showing you the next layer, and it'll come faster than we're all expecting. So that's it, Squid.
Here we go. And the fun does not stop at the Derby. We still have 2 huge races coming up, a lot of stuff Dan was mentioning, a lot of giveaways and contests. So we'll be getting these out to you guys shortly. But thank you everyone for joining. See you guys in general chat.
Thank you, everyone.